to another episode of Amazing People with Amazing Stories. Now, the Village TV Trust, under which banner this show is conducted, has been doing these shows to educate people about what people can really do to make a difference to society. And with us today in the studios, of course, it's on Zoom. They are in UAE and we are in India. But getting together with us are two amazing people, absolutely amazing. They have stories that inspire us, and they must inspire us. And that's why the series and this episode, they demonstrate a strong sense of empathy, compassion, and social responsibility as they prioritize the needs of others above their own. It is in giving they receive. These two individuals, you can see them on your screen, are Sai Prasad Ivaturi, who is a trustee and CFO of the Annapoorna Morning Nutrition Program, Annapoorna Trust, and of course, Sri Anand Kadali, who is the Executive Secretary and Trustee with the same trust, Annapoorna Trust. Now, basically, this Annapoorna Trust conducts a nutrition program for children. It's a wide-ranging program. In fact, their tagline says, "Let no child go to school hungry, ever." Now, serving morning nutrition to 1 million school children in 11,000 plus government schools and across 23 states and 4 union territories in India is no small feat. And this trust has been doing it extremely well, giving our children the chance to use their brains to study after filling their stomachs. And that's very important because if your stomach is empty, you can't study. That's a truth that I have learned when I was in school. So coming back to these two great guys, Sai Prasad Ivaturi and Sri Anand Kadali, we would like to hear their personal stories first, because the other story, we'll come to it, but the personal story, what moved them from well-paid corporate jobs into the non-profit sector, into serving people. This is the story we would all like to hear. I would like to start with Sri Anand Kadali, who is the Secretary of the Annapoorna Trust. Can you tell us your story? Introduce yourself, your background, and then tell us your story as to what brought you here.
Yeah, thank you for giving an opportunity. It's a pleasure having a wonderful meeting over here. Firstly, our gratitude to News Karnataka for giving us an opportunity to share the story of Annapoorna Morning Nutrition Program. Just to give a small brief, I come from Visakhapatnam, place where I finished off my engineering and then MBA, and then continued working for 3 IT corporate majors in Bangalore. For almost 20 years, I was in the IT space doing the product selling of enterprise network security products. And then in the process, we were also involved into social service activities. It was through our deep root spiritual connectedness which we had with Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. We used to do Grama Seva in villages. In one such village, when we started doing the Grama Seva, there was a request from the school authorities that many children come to school with an empty stomach. Would it be possible for you to give something for them in the morning? And that's how the whole idea of starting this program began. And it was very divinely connected that I had my colleague Sai Prasad also with me joining together as initial founders to take up this program. So when we started this program, of course, we started this in a small way by giving some, a typical Indian, South Indian style breakfast like upma or, some, rice curry, basically some sort of a rice related item. So on the day one, when we did this program, we thought since we have our corporate jobs also, we have to get up in the morning, prepare the food, go to the village, serve the food, and then from there, go to our respective offices. And again, the day used to happen like by the time we end up in the evening, again plan for next day's food, what is the menu to be prepared. So we were serving about 50 children. So it so happened that when we did on a day one, when we were returning back from the center or the school, one of the child actually came to me and she asked me, Anna, when are you coming back again? So it was a very emotional and a very touching scene that, it really compelled us to take up this program on a daily basis. And that's how, we didn't want to disappoint her. And then next day morning, again, we went with a hot puri and sabji. And, we started serving the children. We could see children enjoying, relishing it, and their stomachs are full. And then once the stomachs are full, they are full of energy, and then they could understand whatever subjects are being taught. So, in fact, the teacher who actually kind of made the request, she started being our role model, and she started, conveying it to many other teachers in other schools. And slowly, from a small beginning of one school, in about 3 years' time, we started in 2012 till 2015. For 3 years' time, we went through various best practices, and we understood that what are the ways to do this program in a much more organized manner. And we did it for about 20 schools. So in a 3 years' time, we were able to garner 20 schools. And of course, we had our own friends, almost about 30 to 40 of them. Each of us put our salaries, 10% of our salaries as a corpus. We started collecting the fund and created a bank account and started using the money for, the nutrition program, so that nobody is kind of under pressure on a financial terms. That's how it all began. But from a professional side of it, what really made me to be a part of this program is the kind of opportunity which is there lying for all of us. Because many children, especially 70% of the children come from rural schools, but unfortunately there is no one actually who is generally concerned about giving something in the morning as a morning nutrition program. So I wouldn't say that they will definitely be having breakfast in the morning and coming, but many children we have seen, 50, 60% of them come to school with an empty stomach. So we found this as an opportunity, something. It's a greenfield new opportunity. It's something on a social sector we can take up this new initiative, and then we initiated it. We thought we will start in a small way and slowly progress as we continue. But again, divine will and God's or command, I would say. Today we serve almost 1.2 million children, almost 12 lakh children across 16,000 government schools in 23 states and 4 union territories. And we are also now progressively expanding it in other 5 countries. We started in Nigeria, Sri Lanka, we started in Laos, and then we started in Australia. And very recently, we thought, we should start in Malaysia and Indonesia also. So we are making our footsteps towards trying to address this across the globe. And as mentioned by you, let no child go to school hungry ever was the motto which we started this program, and we continue to do it even today. So the first program which we started in 2012, even today it continues to happen without any break. So that answers your question, Brian G. If I'm able to probably explain you much more better, my colleague is also there. He can explain more in detail about it.
Yeah, before I go to Sai Prasad Ivaturi, I just want to ask two questions. The first day you served the school 50 children. Am I correct? That's what you said.
Correct.
Yeah. So you cooked the food yourself, or you had somebody cook the food on the first day, the first time?
Yeah, it was actually cooked at home because it was a new thing for us. So we don't know what kind of food can be prepared outside, and hygiene needs to be maintained, quality has to be there. So you are very confident that at home you can prepare something and take it to the children. So we prepared at home. My better half was there to the side of me to always support me. So she prepared whatever breakfast was actually made for me. What we did is try to make it for about another 50 children. Think that we have another 50 children to be served as our own children, and we started it. So serving happened at home. As we progress every day, we found a caterer over there, a local caterer, who was confident enough to give it at a good quality. So we kind of started engaging him, because by engaging a local community, they will also feel happy that they're engaged and they're also participating. Otherwise, it becomes like an outsider coming and doing an activity. We wanted to see that the local village people, local children's parents come forward and start serving the food, and they also become a part of this morning seva in whatever way by doing it for their own children in the village.
Great. Now let me come to Sai Prasad Ivaturi. What's your story, sir?
Thanks for the interest, Brian, sir. Before I kind of exited my corporate career, I was a director at HP Inc. I used to head the Asia operations for HP's PC business. It was about a $9 billion business. And I was born in a place called Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh. I was raised in Hyderabad, and then I went abroad to US. I did a master's in math and computer science in Indiana State University. I worked there for many years, and I decided to come back to India for no other reason other than to stay very close to the rural hinterland, to give back and things like that. It was a little bit of an idealism which was inculcated very early in my childhood by being in the environment of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He talked about love all serve all, and that's the kind of influence in which I was always there. And while in the US also, I was working with underprivileged children and juvenile delinquents and so on. And in 2012, when Anand started it, along with one more distinguished alumnus, Sri Madhusudan Sai, he studied in Puttaparthi and Whitefield. So that's where this was a very beautiful experience when we actually went to the village. And we saw that there's a lot of things that we could do to make a difference. And as things became bigger and bigger, it started with one school, and adjacent schools started asking for it. Other state governments also started asking for it, and very quickly it became 5 lakhs. So from being a volunteer, and it became very, very huge as an initiative. I was also had an additional role in HP as a pan HP social impact head, or chartered with ensuring that employees come and do volunteering and things like that. So anyway, this volunteering became very big, and it was no longer tenable to just just do one thing. So you had to choose one. It was a very logical thing that I had to kind of left HP and then joined this full time. And today we are what we are today, and we are looking set to move from about 1.2 million children by the end of the next 12 months or so. We will be aiming at about doubling it to over 2 million, so about 20 lakh children. So it's a very gradual transition from being a volunteer. And to really summarize this, what we have found is, ever since I have exited and doing this full time, I have seen the power of doing this full time. A lot of experience. I was GE Six Sigma Black Belt. I was in GE in Genpact for about 10 years as assistant vice president there, Cisco briefly, and then HP for about 8 years. So we have seen that a lot of things can be done by leveraging our ability to scale good work at large way. And don't worry, not to worry about the report that is due on Monday and so on, but do this full time. And we can do the impact can be achieved at a much grander, larger scale across India, and we can build the nation through nutrition. That the idea is what really inspired me, and I think we are very happy to do this every day, Brian.
Okay, that's now 10 years down the line, 2012 to 2023, right?
That's correct.
Okay, just now, maybe I'll go back to Anand, and you just tell us about the Annapoorna Trust. What does it actually do? How does it manage? And one extra question I have, what is it that you learned in your corporate career, both of you for that matter, that you have applied to this Annapoorna Trust and what it does? I know it's a social enterprise, it's a non-profit, but there are a lot of things that we learn in our corporate careers that we can apply to social sector and do it really well. So this is one secret I think you need to tell us.
Sure. Basically, one simple answer is ESG, environment, sustainability, governance. Too often we have seen that a lot of good people are there across the country who are doing it, but a lot of work is very localized. And how nice it would be if we can actually multiply this several times over, because there's so much of underprivileged and disadvantaged sections in different states, even in a state like a Gujarat and even the so-called. So you do have this ability. So the ability to replicate this several times over, multiply it and scale it, so that systematically expand it across the country. That is one where we know how to get this done by now. And really, that is an essence where collaboration is a very important thing, because we are not in an illusion that anything can be achieved just by one one team alone. We have something called a 3S model: the Samsthan, the Sarkara, and a Samaja model. What it means is that Samsthans, for like us, bring the passion and perseverance to make these things, to keep uh, pushing the agenda forward. The Sarkara provides the necessary policies and permissions, and Samajas, people at large, such as yourself, individuals and corporates, provide the necessary, potential and patronage and encouragement and so on. So the 3S provides the 3P, if you will. So what we have learned is that we have used some essence of all the learnings that we've had in the corporate career, and then leverage this so that we know that if you can get the technical know-how of everything and then combine with selfless service and with the patriotism for the country, amazing things can be achieved. And there are a lot of people that we've seen in the process. And that is really what is the a summary of some of the major learnings that we have had over the last 10 years.
In fact, just before I go back to you, in fact, I was working for ITI and I had occasion to in Bangalore, and I had occasion to interact with the Sathya Sai Hospital in Whitefield many years ago, and I was amazed by the experience actually. But anyway, coming back to you, Anand, tell us about Annapoorna Trust. What does it do, and how does it work?
Yeah, so what we did is we didn't want to create a large mega kitchen facility where the preparation of the food happens and then the prepared food is actually sent to various schools, because it requires a lot of capex and it also requires manpower to prepare the food, and that too it has to be provided early in the morning. So these kind of challenges, we definitely can't have a centralized system. So we wanted to do it in a decentralized model, just like any school. School has a kitchen in place. All you need to do is just give the 1 month dry ration. For example, if you're giving on Monday, Tuesday you're giving rice bath, Wednesday you're giving some tomato khichdi bath, and again on Thursday you're giving some puliyogre, and again Saturday or Friday you're giving khichdi, and Saturday some other item. So all it is like rice based or a wheat based kind of products which are there. So in a month, if you say there are 50 children, we know about approximately 100 kgs of wheat is required, or 10 kgs of dal is required, or 10 liters of oil is required. All these items together, what we do is we supply it to the school directly, and then we take a sign off from the teacher, and then we also encourage the cook to come early morning by giving her honorarium, some sort of a salary which will encourage her to come. And we want to see to it that's prepared in a very nice, decent, quality, standard way, so that the children are kind of getting the right meal. All this is done not independently. We actually go to the block education officer, take the permission from the block education officer. That is why we take the government's support. Then we talk to the local village panchayat, which is again also part of the system over there. That the responsibility of preparation and also cooking and monitoring has to be part of your responsibility. Financially, you may not be able to support us, which we understand. Financially, we will take it up, but your responsibility lies in monitoring the whole ecosystem. And then you have people like us working in corporate companies with all the experience which we had. We spoke to many of our friends, and then each of them came forward to participate. Initially, we all joined as a small unit, but later on, we understood that we can involve CSR, corporate social responsibility, as an act by various companies to join together and make this program successful. Now that ends us to a very interesting thing, because many people keep questioning and asking us, "You're doing very nicely, but how do I do it?" It's the same thing, it's a decentralized model. It's not a rocket science, just like how at our home, if you want to get items at the end of the month, you go to any of the general stores, we take the complete 1 month ration items. And then we are taking care of our 4 or 5 people who are there at home. Same thing, all you need to do is go to a general supermarket, cup, for what is required for that school for 50 children or 100 children. Deliver it to the school. So your 70% job is completed by delivering it to the school. And then, you get permission from the government. That means another 10% is taken care. And then you have another 10%, which is the local panchayat support. And the last 10% is the preparation, which is nothing but the cooks who are being paid. So in this whole thing, there is nothing like an involvement where you have to go every day, because everyone has a corporate job to take up. Their professional careers are there. but you can as well take up time at least in a week, go and see by yourself. Or for example, if your birthday is there, your daughter's birthday is there, some parents' birthday is there, some friends' birthday is there, you can as well celebrate that birthday in that school itself by getting the children to that place. So I would say by doing this kind of a program, people think that, we are actually kind of giving it to them. Sorry, we are actually not giving it. They are giving it to us. In fact, it is a reverse which is happening, because by giving whatever we could do to them, they are in return giving us happiness, a peace of mind. Because by the time I go back to office, I can recollect all the memories. Oh, the child has had a nice food. I'm sure now he is properly studying. So that kind of inner happiness feeling is what we wanted, which we generally don't get in any other situations. And that's actually the only reason which triggered us to continue, move on and on and on. And even today also, even in this call also, if somebody is listening to this conversation, do not think about what are the logistic challenges, what are the issues for which this program needs to be done. One step you need to take. All you need is just take that first step. You might fail, but why you should appreciate that you at least succeeded in taking the first step. But I'm saying you'll definitely not fail. We have seen 100% success ratio. Somebody who wants to do good work, there is no chance of any failure. It's only experiences we get to learn. Every time we see some new thing, oh, we would have probably done in this way, that's a new experience for us. So I personally recommend people, not that they have to associate with Annapoorna Trust, not like that. Anywhere, whatever place you are, take some time to go to any nearby school, go to a nearby orphanage, go to any other specific place where there's a need, and try to ask them, what do you need? Do you need food? Or do you need healthcare? Do you need education? Or do you need livelihood? Or do you need water? Or do you need any other requirements? So all these it's all in our hands. Just that, we need to prioritize and take some time for taking up this kind of activities. And this is what I have learned in my corporate work, that, if you can prioritize your time. I used to prioritize my time. Morning 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock is my time for village. 8 o'clock to 8:30 is my driving time to office. 8:30 to evening 4 o'clock is my office. Again, come back and again plan my day for next. So prioritize and keep yourself disciplined will make things happen. So this is what I can tell you, sir. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. But I just want to have one question. Now you have, you said that across so many states of India and 4 union territories, you have, you're feeding about 11,000 plus 1.2 million children across 11,000, what shall I say, schools, government schools. Yeah. So how do you actually monitor, control, or, I mean, what's your role in that? I mean, when you spread out like that.
Yeah, I will explain this in just about 3 points. So all of us know it, right? When we started this program, it all started in a small way. So people started coming and joining us. So first you created a model for yourself. You created a model. And after creating a model for 20 schools, the local teachers themselves went back and told to the government officials. Government officials immediately asked us, I understand you're doing a wonderful work. Please, can you just collaborate with us? So we spoke to the government officials, especially I'll take the case of Karnataka. In Karnataka, they give milk powder. It's a very wonderful program. This is the only state in India where almost 1 crore children are actually getting milk powder from Karnataka. Now, the milk powder which is provided by Karnataka government, all we are doing is giving them a health supplement added to it. It's like a taste enhancer. It also has micronutrients in it. It also has some sort of very good, important, minerals which are required for that child. So, government of Karnataka really understood what we are doing it. So, the model of 20 schools was established. Then you have a district which is now come up forward to take up this program. So, from 20 schools, we moved to 200 schools. And from 200 schools, we moved to another 600 schools. So it was very easy for us because, all you're doing is provide those health supplements to the government schools. And what is government doing? They're doing an excellent job of giving permission. They're going and talking to district education officer, block education officer, because the permission comes from the top. When the permission comes naturally, you get to see everything streamlined properly and you are able to expand it. Now, that is the first point. The second point is it's just not giving whatever is required. Somebody from our end also needs to go there and see whether the program is well organized or not. For this, again, volunteers are definitely needed, but at the same time, what we are doing is we are hiring the local village people as our employees over there. Which means if you have, let's say, a district, we'll identify about 4 to 5 people who will be manning the particular district in trying to see that the program is monitored and also impact assessment is done. And after that, they will also come back and tell what are the feedbacks which they got from the particular schools. That's the second point. Now, the third point is the most important point. Now, if you see the scale has increased from 20 to 200 or 20,000 schools or whatever, in this whole ecosystem, we have identified that, to do this nutrition program, government permissions are there, local village panchayats are coming forward. Then you also have people like us who have actually taken it as a passion to take up the work. But the corporate partners are the key. Corporate partners are also looking to invest their time in rural villages, rural ecosystems. Many of the programs are only confined to cities. But the idea is if you do it in cities, you're only confined to doing it for the particular people who might be having something to afford. But there are villages where they cannot even afford. Our idea was basically to target that. And the corporate partners also wanted to align with the NGOs who are doing something in the rural villages. For example, even if you see today, larger kind of CSR funding is only happening in 4 or 5 states, be it Karnataka, be it Delhi, be it Maharashtra, or be it to a certain extent, UP or one other states. If you see Northeastern belt is absolutely zero. I would say very minimal, 5% or 2% is what is the CSR spend in Northeastern belt. So our efforts are towards such kind of regions where the need is there. Northeastern belt, Bihar, or you can see even Union territories, Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu. These are certain places. Even when we go there, we understand there's a need over there. Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. So we thought we should invest our time only in these particular places, and we understood that if you want to make it successful, the local corporate partners of that organization of that region have to participate. So we are trying to see that, first we set up our base, then after that align with the government's policies, whatever are there, and then introduce a corporate partnership. So that's the model which we are creating, sir.
Okay, and Sai Prasad, I think you all travel quite a bit to all these places to monitor, overall monitor.
We do.
Yeah, so what has been your, can you tell us a little bit? I want 2 parts. One is your experience with authorities when you want to introduce these things, and your experience with the children or the schools where you are actually having this program. So your personal, I want something personal, like what has touched you?
Sure. The first one, of course, it's not so personal. In terms of government authorities, basically we work, we travel extensively, as you rightly perceived, very interior and sometimes very tribal areas where the nearest government schools are a little away and so on. We work with the government, the Department of Education. So it depends on the level at which we operate. It could be right up to the Minister of Education, or it could be Principal Secretary of Education, or it will be the Commissioner of Education, or a Director of Midday Meal Scheme. Sometimes we also work with the WCD, Women and Child Department, also ICDS also. And where there are certain areas where there are local MLAs very strong, we also work with them and try to get some permissions, or at a DO level also, or the local panchayat level also. So the level at which we are operating also determines the scope at which we are working in terms of geography. That is really how we have. Some states, they understand very quickly. Look, we are apolitical. We believe in keeping good relationships with all the government people, because they provide us access to enter the government schools. So irrespective of where their alignment is, we try to give them respect and ensure we keep good relationships with them and so on. That is one aspect. In terms of going to each of some of the states, there is variability in terms of how we get responses also, as you would imagine. Recently, I was also in some very good conversations with the government of Gujarat as well, where there are some places like Bhavnagar and Tolka. We are at almost in the cusp of finishing the MOU, where we are doing. In Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh also, we're trying to get something started. So that is the kind of governments that we are working with. When we actually go into some of the interior areas, there was one story where we went to a deep western Prakasam district of Andhra Pradesh, where we actually went to the government school, Yaraganda-Palam area, and there is opposite that government school is a hill, and at the other yonder of the hill is a bunch of tribal children. So somehow, because we started this program, we figured out how do we extract those children from those across the hills, and then we brought them. And it was very interesting that they had very limited social skills. They didn't even know the local language of Telugu properly. They had their own language. Now, what we found is not only are the dropouts being arrested by this kind of this thing, the minute the news spreads to the surrounding areas that hey, Annapoorna morning nutrition has started, surrounding children and some new kind of children are also coming into school. So enrollments are improving. I'll just maybe conclude this statement, but basically that what we are seeing is a probability of finishing school is dramatically increased here, because that means that you are adding new children and you're delivering a healthy and productive citizens for the next generation. I think that's our small contribution for the country, and building the nation through nutrition is what we like to think about.
So in whatever nutrition that you provide, the local staple food is provided, right?
Yes,
you don't impose anything from outside.
Correct. In fact, what we have found, where we were doing malt for the Sai malt, which is a nutrient health mix in Karnataka, where we have found in Andhra and Telangana is that they have something called ragi java.
Yeah.
Ragi sankati there. They like it very much, and we have added jaggery to it, and we found that the nutrition profile is very complete. It's got calcium with the ragi thing, and then jaggery has innate iron and so on, and the sucrose element comes in. The carbohydrate comes in. Together, it's a very complete profile, and they like it so much, and it's a familiar food for them. You have seen, we have videos where the children are seen licking the plate out of it. Yes, they like it so much, and the teachers are also very motivated now, because initially it was a struggle for them to attract the children to come on time. Now, by the time the teachers are coming to school, the children are already there. Teacher, we are here. And of course, we know why. So it's both a nutrition as well as the taste and familiar food. So I think it is very important that the children adopt. Adoption among children and the taste is very critical along with the nutrition to make this a success.
Okay. And one last question. This whole thing is funded by corporates or individual donations? I mean, how do you fund it?
It's both. Basically, we have a percentage, it depends on the regions. We have 60-40, 40-60, but it's the community at large. It's a highly retail model, if you will. We have a large number of populace who provide small tickets of donations towards whatever they feel comfortable on a monthly basis or a one time and so on. And then we have a few large corporates who have nutrition as their CSR policy, and then they kind of accommodate. So we are very fortunate that based on their generosity, a larger amount of ticket size donations are possible by CSRs. So we have a large ticket of small CSRs and a small ticket of very large population of individuals. Combined with that, and we also sometimes apply for grants and grant giving bodies and foundations and things like that. So it's largely our thing is about extending this opportunity to participate among a large population set. That's what we are involved in.
Okay, the last couple of questions. One is, both of you are now fully into this. I mean, you don't have corporate jobs now. Okay.
No,
and the second,
this is fully, yes.
The second thing is, why Chikkaballapur? I mean, you started your journey there. So why Chikkaballapur?
It's a very good question, because see, as I told, you need to have the corporate partners also to help you out, right? So when we started our program, first we should be comfortable in which region we can start. While we speak about rural communities, we can't do it some other place where the journey is of almost 4 to 5 hours. So from Bangalore to Chikkaballapur, which is the adjoining district, okay, and also, if you see in terms of it, the rural villages and the rural communities and the schools are very high in that region. So we have calculated from Bangalore to Chikkaballapur, it just takes 1 hour for us. Basically, what we are doing is we are trying to get corporate partners to get involved in these programs to make it sustainable. Because as you know, it's an individual program. We started as a small program with very minimal corpus, and we understood that corporate partners can come forward and join it. So, but the partners also need to find themselves available to do some employee volunteering. So they can't travel for long distances to 4 to 5 hours or 6 hours and do over there. So we have to identify some of these districts which are nearby, at the same time comfortable for even the employees to come forward and take it forward. So as I told you, as a role model, we picked up Chikkaballapur, which is very clear, slightly nearer to us. But once we did successfully Chikkaballapur, we picked up Ramnagara, we picked up even Gulbarga. There are certain places like Raichur, Yadgir, because once you set up the model, as I told you, it just goes like a wildfire. And now from there, it went on to Andhra, Telangana. So first start with something where you're comfortable with. We don't want to go into doing somewhere and start comfortably in a small place. Even if it is 10 children, also perfectly okay. Look for that school, very convenient for you. Try to see how it is working out for you. Test all your various options available. Once you get the confidence, once you get the people, and then you can start, expanding it. So always start small. Take the baby steps. Then the large strides can be taken up as time progresses.
Yeah. Okay. And your family is totally supportive in this.
Of course, sir. I'm very grateful to Bhagwan Baba and also Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, who is the founder of this program, under whose guidance we are doing it. At a spiritual front, we have, always keeping ourselves very humble and also trying to keep ourselves very focused with selfless service wherever possible. But at the same time, you need to have your back-end support also coming. My parents, my wife, my in-laws, everybody support this program, and we are all very happy, sir. And we continue to get their support even today also. And they're also trying to make ourselves comfortable in talking to more and more people, so that they also contribute back to the program.
They're not just supportive; they actually work for Annapoorna as
well.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, it works for Annapoorna. She takes care of the account receivables.
Yeah.
Okay. And my wife works also takes care of the account payables. So it's a double package. So most of the people who are volunteering, they come along with their families.
Okay, and one last question before we wind up. You all met where? And I mean, where did you all get to know each other? You all were childhood friends or something?
No, as I told you, right, we used to go to Puttaparthi. Puttaparthi, whenever we used to go and meet the Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, his always message is only one thing which clicked as Grama Seva is Rama Seva. So we used to go and do Ram Seva. I was in Bangalore. Sai Prasad was also in Bangalore. So we used to go to one of these villages, and like any other, brothers, we spoke to each other, and we are from the same state, Andhra Pradesh. So it was convenient for me to speak to him Telugu, and he also resonated with me. And then later on, together we started up this. I would always like to tell you that it's also God's blessing that I found a very wonderful elder brother like Sai Prasad, who is always behind the scenes helping me to take up this program. When I say me, on representing Sri Sathya-Annapoorna Trust, helping all the trust members to take up the program in a faster way. So he's my colleague, I would say my elder brother, helping me and guiding me in all ways. Yeah.
But I follow him because he started and I followed. He left the corporate first, and I followed him a year later. So we follow each other.
Yeah. It's this kind of following is much better than following on Facebook. Huh?
Yes.
Absolutely. Because it produces something real. It's something genuine and helps people grow. Thank you very much, both of you, Sai Prasad and Anand. It was such a pleasure to talk to you. I learned so much, and I'm sure our viewers will, and they will also support you. I'm 100% sure of that. And it's an amazing story, amazing people, both of you. And I hope many of us, I don't know whether I will be able to do it. I'm not sure I have that capacity, but whoever can, I'm sure they will follow you and follow you like you followed each other. So thank you very much for this amazing story. You're just amazing people. Thank you very much, viewers, for staying with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Goodbye.